Hey, all about fishing with Big Kev. Hey, stay tuned. Video 2, fishing line, knot tying. Hey, welcome back. First of all, like and subscribe. Hey, this is video 2 of series 4. The first one was on basic rod and reels. This one's on fishing line and knot tying. So when you're in the stores and if you're buying the combo, you'll have line on your reel. But I wanted to explain line to you because it's confusing. So line comes in all different colors, all different kinds. It's every make and model. But basically, line that I want to talk to you about is what they call mono or monofilament. Okay? This is your basic fishing line. They make a braid, they make a fluorocarbon, they make all different kinds. But for the beginning angler, monofilament is the line to use. Okay? Monofilament. So eventually when you buy a combo and you use, after a year, you should take the string off and then wind new string onto that reel and have fresh string on it for the next fishing season. And we'll show some videos on that down the road. But buy monofilament, and it doesn't have to be $100 spool of fishing line. I use Berkley Trilene, big game mono on my fishing poles. I love the stuff. I've always used it. But what you need to understand in fishing line is it comes in a strength, and they do that as a pound statement. So this line here is real thin, and it's a 4-pound line. So this is going to be a lot weaker line than something like a 12-pound line. So most of your combos that you buy in the store on Spincast and spinning reels is basically a 10-pound line, which is about a medium-sized line. Here's a 20-pound. And it goes up to 80, 100 pounds, but you'll never use that. But your line comes in all different kinds. Here's a 17. So whether it's Trilene or Stren, here's Bass Pro's crappie line. Here's Zebco. Everybody makes it. So what I'm trying to explain to you is there's all kinds of manufacturers, all kinds of line. I kind of put together a little deal here showing a 4, a 12, and a 20, and it's going to be very hard for you to see that. I know. But that 4-pound line is very tiny. And the 20 is very big as far as the diameter. I know that's hard to see. But your weight of line is going to be, so how can I explain this? Your 4-pound line. A lot of 4-pound line is used in your ultralight series rod and reels. It's more for like crappie fishing, pan fishing, bluegill. Your 20, 30-pound line would be for trolling in a boat, heavy catfish poles if you're really fishing heavy catfish. Your 10-pound line is a happy medium. It's going to bring in large fish. It really is. So they stay with a 10-pound as a happy medium on a lot of your combo rod and reels. So when you buy a rod and reel, you're going to get a 10-pound or a combo in the store. You're going to most likely get 10-pound line, which is perfectly great. Your rod and your reel is going to state how much line and what size line it will use or will function best with. And so when you buy buy or shopping for a combo, it'll state on the rod or the reel 10-pound line to 12-pound, 4 to 8-pound line. So those are the lines you should always stick with the combo that you buy. So with that being said, monofilament line, you can't just tie a couple granny knots on a hook and go fishing. It will literally pull it off. The string does not hold the knot. You'll pull it apart, and then your line will look like a corkscrew, and your hook will be off. So if you're fishing and you catch a fish and you're reeling it in, and then you lose it and you reel it in, your hook's gone, but your line looks like a corkscrew, your knot didn't hold, or you had the wrong kind of knot. So I'm going to teach you 2 different knots. So here's my makeshift fishing line, and I use an eye bolt. This is how you can train your kids without getting hooked. The first one is the improved clinch knot, and I'm going to do this a little different. I'm going to do it up close. So here's a piece of string and an eye bolt. So the improved clinch knot, you're going to run your fishing line through the eye of your hook, and you're going to give your hook about 4 or 5 twists like that. You've created a loop right here at your hook. So you're going to run your end of your line through that loop. And then you're going to take your line, you've created this loop. You're going to take your line and run it back through that loop. So now you're going to pull it tight. But what I want you to do is lick your fingers and kind of moisten that line, and then pull it down onto that knot, onto that hook. Okay? And then you're going to take a pair of fingernail clippers, and you're going to trim that back to about 1/8 of an inch, and that'll hold. Okay? We'll do that one more time. Improved clinch knot. This knot's been around for 100 years. I learned it when I was a kid. Take your string and your hook. Run your string through. Give it about 4, 5, 6 turns. You can't do too many. You created this loop right here. Run your string through that loop to create this loop. Then run your string back through that loop, and then moisten your knot and pull it tight. Trim off your end. Improved clinch knot. So that's one fishing knot that'll hold with monofilament. The next one is a simpler knot, and you're going to take your hook, and you're going to take your line, and you're going to run it through. Then you're going to run your line back through your eye of your hook and create a loop like this. Okay? Then you're going to do the old basic overhand knot like you do in your shoes. And you've got this loop right here. Now you're going to stick your hook or your lure through that loop all the way past the eye, moisten your knot, and pull it tight. So now if you look, you've got 2 lines through the eye of your hook. This is a lot stronger knot. And then again, you're going to trim this with your fingernail clippers. This is called the Palomar knot. It's one of the strongest knots out there. It's a very strong knot, and it's really a simple knot to tie. So we're going to do that one more time. And this is a great way to teach kids how to tie knots. We do this in our education classes. A piece of string and an eye bolt. They will not get hooked. And it's very simple if you're sitting in your easy or lazy boy or on the couch to practice these knots. So take your hook, take your string, run it through the eye, run it back through the eye, put it in the middle there, you got your loop, overhand knot, like so. Create this eye, stick your lure or your hook through the eye, and then moisten your knot and pull it tight. Fishing line will suck up tight. Again, you've got the double line in the hook. That's called the Palomar knot. Those are the two knots that we teach in our education classes. The most simplest knots, and if you learn those two knots, you're going to go fishing. So hopefully that explains a little bit about fishing, string, and knot tying. Again, if you take, let's see here, here's some 20-pound line. If I take a piece of this and I just tie a granny knot in it, do another one here. Now I'm tied onto that hook. Now if I sit there and pull it, it pulls short, pulls it right off, and see how that line's, I don't know if you can see that line, how it's curly-cued. My knot gave out on my hook. It doesn't hold. But if you tie one of them other hook lines that I showed you, so we'll run it through, run it back through, overhand knot, run an eye bolt through, moisten my knot, pull it tight. I am not going to pull that knot off. And I'm actually cutting my skin by pulling on this. This stuff will cut you, so don't pull on it like I did. But that knot's on there. And I don't know if you can tell, but there's two strings on that knot. You can see them right there. That's the Palomar knot. See, I can't pull that knot apart. You will break your line before that knot gives out. So hopefully I've taught you a little bit about knot tying, a little bit about monofilament line, what to use, what not to use, how to buy it. You know, here's a roll of it. It comes in all sizes. This is a big old roll. Then you can buy these little rolls. Then you can even get smaller rolls. So, you know, depending on the money you want, to be honest with you, if you're just doing it one time for the year, buy one of these little ones for cheap money. Get 10-pound line and you'll be set. Hey, once again, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Stay tuned for video 3. We're going to talk to you about tackle, bare minimum tackle needed to get you on the water. So until then, tie lines, everyone.